Okay, I wasn't planning on a part three, but here's a part three because it's really important and it's kind of part of the horror stories that I've heard as a clinician who also does second opinion testing for individuals who go through these experiences of getting tested, getting assessed by clinicians who just quite aren't quite there yet with their knowledge of ADHD and autism. So I remember a couple years ago, an individual had come to me, assigned male at birth, and they provided me with their assessment report, and it was 2.5 pages long total. Like that's it. It was 2 pages and like one line on the third page. And that was the entire assessment report. Keep in mind, I do need to like make my assessment reports a little bit more brief, but they're consistently like 40 to 70 pages. They are very thorough and comprehensive because it's what I would want. Just providing people with full knowledge and awareness of their strengths, their differences, their challenges, everything, learning about how their brain works, how they operate in the world. And within that is 10 plus pages of recommendations for their next steps. So there is a very, very clear path forward. But going back to the story, 2 pages, one line on the third page, and the conclusion was that this person was not ADHD, but had and I kid you not, the word was malfunctioning in their personality and emotions. And that was what was causing their struggles that they were dealing with. And so I do the assessment and used all the standardized measures, all research based, including cognitive measures, looking at the person's IQ, executive functioning, working memory, processing speed, their learning styles, and also, of course, the interviews, 3+ hours of interviews for ADHD and autism, interviews with family members as well with the client, and also having parents and the client complete rating forms and symptom inventories before we meet, and reviewing their records, their report cards, and etc. And so this person, they were actually ADHD and autistic. And I just, like, I cry so much with my clients, but when I met with them and I gave them their diagnosis and I explained to them how their brain works, that there is absolutely nothing wrong with them, everything right. And the struggles that they've been having have been due to a mismatch between their brain style and the environments that they've been operating in, that they've been operating in this neurotypical, setup world that just wasn't designed for them. And, they started crying and, shared with me that like this was so life changing and that I saved their life. I just like, sorry, I get like choked up even thinking about it now because like I love this work. I love this work. Some individuals think like, oh, well, you're ADHD autistic yourself. Does that mean that you have more of like a narrow way of seeing things, that you think that everybody's also ADHD and autistic? And it's like, absolutely not. My lived experience combined with my professional expertise, it sharpens and adds to the precision of my work, not narrows it in any way. I'm able to see other people fully, and also support them, and also see pretty clearly when ADHD or autism is not the answer, but when there's a better explanation for their experiences, and provide that information as well. So I guess that is all to say that like not all assessments are created equal. I've learned that like kind of you get what you pay for. And I also am very sensitive to the fact that this is, for quality, it is quite expensive. And not everyone has access to resources or even like, room on the credit card to be able to provide that. So part of my solution for that is I am an assessor who accepts the Jonathan Foundation scholarships, which provides 100% scholarships for children to get assessments. I accept Care Credit, which is financing with up to 12% zero interest for folks who still want a quality assessment but can't afford it immediately, but can afford to pay it off over time. And then I also refer people to, if they're in California, to UCLA's testing center as a third option where, they don't want to finance it. They, don't qualify for a Jonathan Foundation, but like still want a very quality assessment. The downside is that they are a very overwhelmed system, because they provide low cost, insurance based, but quality assessments with their graduate students. Sometimes the waiting list is like 8 to 12 months long. But this is a very viable option for individuals. I did not mean for this video to be another 10 minutes, so let me stop here. But do you have a horror story of trying to get yourself or your child assessed? I'm hoping that it also comes with a story of victory where you eventually were seen and understood and appropriately and accurately assessed. But I welcome all the stories, and overall, and summarily, I hope that you get to a place where you are fully seen, fully understood, and know that you are so, so valuable.